Hurricane Milton strengthening moments ago to again a powerful Category 5. Barreling toward Florida, Tampa's police chief calling it the storm of the century. The hurricane on track to make landfall tomorrow night in the Tampa Bay area. Millions along Florida's west coast still reeling from Helene and now bracing for the worst. Milton slamming into Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula earlier today, downing trees and power lines. Also, a NOAA flight crew feeling the force of that storm, flying through Milton in an attempt to collect vital data. In Florida, though, cars are lining up at gas stations. They're packing the roads as families race to evacuate that storm zone. ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z is live for us in Tampa, tracking all of this for us. So, Ginger, wow, learning now again that it's been upgraded to a Category 5 here. We know that people are encouraged to evacuate. Are they willing and able to do so? Are they heeding that warning? And how much longer do they really have to get out of the storm's path?
Yes, the good news is Tampa was much quieter today than what we saw yesterday. That means a lot of that prep work was done. A lot of the exit was done. There's obviously still people, and there are certainly people that have stayed behind. If they have done so and they still want to make a change and they've been in an evacuation zone, asked to leave, you still got about 12 to, I'd say, 18 hours tops before you wouldn't want to be moving around. By Wednesday afternoon, you got to make the final cutoff. And I'd say Wednesday morning is a better idea because we're looking for a midnight landfall and the impacts will start before then. So yes, they can, but I also have to say we saw some urgent work being done for animals because the Florida Aquarium is evacuating coral. They got some of those out. They're going to a facility in Key West, but also they were taking out the penguins and a sloth. Kana, it was the slowest evacuation I've ever seen, but one where it was quite necessary. They're getting all of the animals upstairs because with Helene, they took on water and they're worried about having even more water this time.
Oh, wow. You know, you need the people that care about every living thing out there. That's so important. I'm so glad you're highlighting that for us, Ginger. And Ginger, can you tell us a little bit more about Tampa Bay and that area and why it's more susceptible to this storm surge and things like this?
Yes, and I know Elise will have more on the forecast coming up, but I should say at the latest update, and some of the computer models today have taken a tick south, so I want to emphasize it is not just a Tampa Bay storm. This is very much a Punta Gorda and Fort Myers, Santa and again, Captiva, those places, which we'll get to. But let me just tell you about where we are, right? Right here, you can see damage, a fishing pier that was ruined just a week and a half ago or so in Helene. And then you can barely see Tampa over there, and this is the actual bay. So you've got all of these areas of water where, first of all, on the west coast of Florida, you're extremely vulnerable because the ocean floor is very shallow and it acts like a ramp. So when the hurricane's coming up, that ramp just kind of lets the water and the surge right onto the coast. Then in Tampa Bay here, it converges when you have onshore flow. With this storm, though, I have to say, Kana, it appears that that onshore flow is going to be more for a place like Sarasota or Venice. And the offshore will still impact Tampa Bay because where I'm standing, we're facing east. And when you get an east wind all night, it's going to push this bay water right onto this land. And that's why all the people that live up and down here, Bayshore Boulevard and beyond, are going to be impacted. No matter if this storm is just a little south, we'll still get that backward flow.
Oh, wow. That is so fascinating and scary at the same time. And we're talking about this storm surge. You're talking about a possibility of 12 feet here. But what is the timing? What is the track? What are you seeing and expecting?
Yep. So they've kept Tampa Bay and the region like Clearwater down through Madeira Beach and Reddington Shores and all the places that were hit so hard in Helene with that record surge. They've kept that at 10 to 15 feet. What has changed in the latest update, and I think this was smart, is this storm is so powerful. It's pushing this big bubble of water ahead of it. Now Fort Myers is up to 8 to 12 feet of storm surge, and they've upped Naples' forecast to 5 to 8 feet. You know, in lesser storms that hit way farther away, you have a lot of water that pushes up on Fort Myers Beach, which they have asked to evacuate. And this would be my plea for anybody if they said, oh, come on, it's going up to Tampa, we're going to be fine. No, this storm is for Fort Myers. It is for Captiva and Sanibel, Punta Gorda, Rotunda. That's a storm, or that's a name that we unfortunately might be hearing a lot from the next couple of days in recovery. And Venice. All of those beaches need to be looking out. And just a reminder, Kana, surge doesn't just stop right at the beach, right? It can go inland quite far, and especially because the way that we've created these waterways in Florida, a lot of it man-made, little canals, water pushes and converges. So even if you're further inland, that's why those evacuation zones and those inundation maps that you're seeing there go blocks, if not miles, inland.
Wow. All right, Ginger Z, our thanks so much to you for timing this out for us, and we'll be checking in with you in the days and hours to come.